So Fred Gleek here again with William DeWeese, and we're doing our weekly podcast. Bill, how are you?
I am good, doing better. How are you
And
doing?
glad from last week you were kind of sick, but now more importantly, the burning question: how was your week?
It was good. And we should say, for the purpose of those listening, that we're recording this Friday morning, so my week's not really done yet completely.
Yeah.
But right now I'm at four, and the reason I'm saying that is because I'm very close to my goal, $4,738. So
Now again, when we left you last time on this series, you were kind of optimistic that you'd have a pretty big week because there were some
yeah,
jobs that were piling up. So I
yeah.
guess the question for those who have been following you diligently is, what happened?
Well, obviously, a much bigger week than last week, but 5,000 is my weekly goal,
Right?
and I'll probably hit that by end of today. And it's in terms of what happened. I mean, I can give you the breakdown of day by day, but
Yeah,
nothing really out of the usual happened. It was really business as usual.
yeah. I think that though when our viewers left us last time, you had said that you were expecting kind of a fat week because things were
Oh,
accumulating.
fatter than usual. Yeah, there were a couple jobs that were beginning to line up, which actually helped take us to reach the goal that we're going to this week. But it's not an overly fat week. I mean, it's a good week. Don't get me wrong. It's not overly fat. One of the things that's affecting it, and I think this is worth talking about, is that I've been sick for the past few weeks,
Yeah.
and I've worked through it. But one of the side effects of that is just I've just been physically drained. I've just been tired,
Yep.
and I have not auditioned and promoted as heavily as I normally would, because when things slow down, I'll rest instead of digging back in and finding something else to do. I've just been resting my voice and resting my body because it's just, it's exhausting. So I have not been marketing and auditioning as heavily as I usually would be.
Which brings up the question I think that's important as well, which is that I always used to talk about it in my business as the yo-yo cycle, which is unless you are marketing while doing your work, you're going to have large ups and downs because when you don't market, then sort of a little bit further ahead in the process, then you get less business, then you run around and have to
Yes.
market real hard. So you should be, in general, if you're in physical condition to do so, you should be doing your VO work and marketing simultaneously so as to keep
Yes.
the curve rather steady, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You have to keep the new stuff coming in. So my weekly goal is to have, if I can get 2 to 4 new clients a week, I'm very, I mean, that's really good. And actually this week, and we'll talk more specifically about this in a few minutes, but it looks like I have 1, 2, 3 new clients this week. So,
Excellent.
so yeah, so that will help me to continue to grow going
Okay,
forward.
so like we always do, let's start back on Monday.
Yeah, Monday, let's see here, did five projects. I did a student aid repayment promo. So having to do with,
Getting college
avoid
students to now pay back their big debt.
how to avoid big problems with the government. I picked up a new client doing a script for something called Silicon Catalyst. It's something out in California, the Silicon Catalyst, where it's venture capital and funding of new businesses. And so I did a narration for them. So that was fun. That was pretty cool. I did some training for Intel. Speaking of Silicon Valley, did some training narration to close out some projects I'd been working on, and did an explainer video for a technology company called Brocade. So it was
Brocade.
Brocade, yeah. So it was pretty busy.
Okay, cool. So that was your Monday.
That was my Monday.
And a total of how many dollars then?
I don't have a total for each
Yeah,
day.
but whatever. That was probably
Well, I averaged about 1,000 a day. Just yeah. Tuesday, did some more. I've had an ongoing relationship with a company doing National Automobile Dealership Association work. So that continued on Tuesday, and actually I just did some more this morning. So that'll continue to trickle in probably for the next few weeks. I did some more training narration for Cisco. So as you can see, I do a lot of technology training. And for the purposes, for our audience, so they know, I have no background in technology, not a lick.
in fact, the fact that I converted you to a Mac guy years ago has made your life much easier.
Yes, and I do love my Mac. I was a Windows guy, and I figured out what I needed to know there. But I'm not, my point being, I speak of things that I do not know anything of. I don't understand.
I think it's
But
probably worse when you do medical narration, though.
I don't understand. I definitely don't understand that. And I did
Yeah.
some on Tuesday, as a matter of fact,
Ah,
for a drug called Victoza. It's targeted to people with diabetes. It helps to regulate blood sugar. But my point is that you don't have to be an expert in a field to still get hired to do the work. The key is to learn to sound authoritative and knowledgeable.
right.
Which
Like
with
you know what that it's kind of like a politician.
exactly, it's exactly like a politician. Great analogy. Uh, excuse me. I did a narration on how to use a Form 1099 when investing properly, and
Okay.
that's let's see, I think that was a new client. I did a redo of the student loan script I did on Monday. There was a few words that needed to be changed around, so I did that and made a little extra more money on that. I recorded. I'm the voice of the Immaculate Heart Radio Catholic Radio Network.
Now, do they know you're not a Catholic?
They never asked.
Are they
Although
are they okay with that?
no, they don't know. They don't know that, but they never asked. So I guess they don't care. But
Upstairs here, just real briefly. But so if
we,
you're
we do
watching,
have many same shared beliefs. So I don't think they have. They seem to like the work that I do. So I think we're okay.
there, huh?
I feel like I'm watching one of those shows where like ghost hunters.
I know.
You know,
I'm going into
Blair
Kyle's
Witch
room,
Project.
which is kind of
So I did some
here.
recording. I
So
record for
I'm
them every
sitting
week.
in. He's got. You can see the great artwork on the back there.
Oh, there you go. Nice, nice.
So if you're on the podcast, then I suggest you get on the YouTube channel at Bill DeWeese channel and see what we're talking about if you need to.
And we should mention that this podcast is now available on iTunes.
It is. And the thing is, but one of the things, as I was actually talking to Avish, one of my buddies that you know, a couple minutes ago, when he went to look it up, I wonder if we have to do some keyword stuff there because we put in VO Weekly Podcast. I wonder if we need to put in voiceover both in words and I don't know if there's search terms that we need to optimize there. So we may want to look into that.
Do some research. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
If you're watching this on YouTube, there is the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, there's also the YouTube channel.
We cover all the bases.
Everybody's covered.
So after I did the Immaculate Heart Radio promos for them, I did the Victoza, the prescription medication. It was all legal. Interesting thing, it was all legalese. It was the disclaimer. So it was a nightmare to read. But
And what was it was a nightmare to read because what?
it was highly scientific. It wasn't promotional. It was all very. It was numbers and comparisons and a lot of terminology I just wasn't familiar with. I had to do a lot of looking up of words.
And so this took you how much longer than the average for the same amount of copy? So would it be a 3 times factor?
I would say that's close. Yeah, probably approximately.
So now, should you, if people are listening or watching this who are looking to expand their own business, is that something that they should try and avoid?
Not at all, because it typically pays better than just about anything else. As a matter of fact, on this particular script, I got paid. It was about $50 per finished minute of
50
work.
per finished minute. And how many minutes work did you do?
It was 6 minutes, and it was 350. So it was actually a little more than 50.
Got it. Okay, and that's now we're still on. Is this still Tuesday?
This is still Tuesday. And then I had one other project. It was a new client, the Student Loan Help Center.
Okay.
It was a student loan kind of a week. Don't know why. And interestingly, my wife works in student financial aid. So
no, there's a connection there.
yeah. And now this particular narration, actually, the client requested music behind it, which that happens maybe once a year. So a lot of people ask me, well, should I be prepared to do full production with music? And my response is no. It rarely ever happens. This is one client that wanted it, and I was able to provide it. So that was nice. On Wednesday, I had a couple of jobs, did some more training for cruise line travel salespeople, had a couple of training narrations from an established client that I've done work for the past probably 7 years. I also did some work for Purina. It's for swine producers. And have I ever told you that I have a background in agricultural radio?
I think you did. You have told me that. And I knew that because when I saw you one time wearing overalls, it was a dead
There
giveaway.
you go, and my straw hat.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, WRFD. Literally, that was the radio station. So I,
Rough work.
eh,
Rough.
rough, yes. I know a little of the lingo, so that helped. And I was, let's see here, contacted for agency spot through. Actually, I don't even understand what my notes are. I was contacted by some agency for prospective work, but that's all I understand
You
from it.
read some copy that Mallory gave you and you said, okay, if we're
I
making,
just do what I'm told.
yes,
Mallory
exactly.
tells me what to do, and I do it.
Got it.
It works better that way. On Thursday, excuse me again. Hopefully, this will all be gone over this next week. My fingers are crossed. It's a pain. Thursday, I did picked up a new client. They're an ad agency in Salt Lake City, so this was a first project for them, and so that's how I get giddy, I get goosebumps with a new client because they told me they will plan on use me again in the future. So that's a good thing.
Now, my question is for those, again, listening or watching, is how did these three new clients get acquired? Were they acquired via pay to play? How did you find them? How did they find you?
This ad agency in Salt Lake City found me through a pay-to-play site. So it wasn't a cattle call audition. They actually found my profile and liked what they heard
Right.
and contacted me through that. Um, and earlier, the Silicon Catalyst project that was a new client, that was through a pay-to-play. And I've got, is there a third? Oh,
Now,
and the student, yeah, they were all through pay-to-plays
got
this
it. So
week.
now I know eventually we're going to want to get sponsorship from some of these folks, but do you mind sharing? Were they all from one pay to play, or were
No, no. It was, I think one came through voices.com and two came through
good? Thank
voice123.com.
you for giving an answer that was very good, given what I'm trying to get at here.
Okay, good. Well, I try to anticipate as best I can. Also on Thursday at a regional TV commercial, I was contacted by a studio in Moldova.
Oh,
They're looking like for a tag for a public service announcement.
right.
And so I read for that. I haven't heard back yet, but hopefully, and they found me through a pay to play as well.
Got
So,
it.
and by the way, and we don't have time to get into this would require an entire training, which we'll do at some point. But there is, with pay to play sites, there is the cattle call side of the business where you just jump in the fray with
Right.
everybody else. And then there's when people find you and contact you directly.
Yeah.
And that's where you want to be. And there are strategies that you can do to make that happen.
And I'll bet someone like Bo Stevenson would be a person we
I
may.
bet he could. Yeah. So I would just say that's a good teaser right there. More information coming soon.
Good.
It'll change your life.
But you know what? Let's go back a little bit because again, some people who are watching or listening this particular week's podcast slash YouTube video may be curious about the following. Again, I'm just starting. I've got my equipment all set up. I've come back from my reunion, my high school reunion. I've somewhat recovered, not completely. My
With a week
concern,
like that, how could you in just a
my
few days?
concern, of course, is that the pictures might get out to the general public. Um, and so, given that I now have my equipment ready to go, we found out it was a hardware glitch, and we're now ready to go. When we talk about the pay-per-play sites, and I know we've talked a little bit about this before, do you think that I should right now, and again, there are tiers of membership on Voices. Voice123. Should I start out with both of those with a free membership, or should I immediately jump in and pay?
Once you have a demo, professionally produced demo, which you do,
Which I do. Thanks to you.
which I produced, I at that point, I think it's time to become what's called a premium member, where you pay the annual fee so that you have access to all or a lot of the auditions, and you can be found more easily in the database because you've got a product to promote now. And that's, if you didn't have that, I would say free.
And by the way, that's at fredsvoice.com for anyone who want to see a very slickly produced demo by Bill DeWeese.
fredsvoice.com.
So now, okay, so I then go on, and at both of these places, I want to establish a paid membership, but there are tiers within that membership. What am I looking to spend on both of those?
Really, I mean, the premium, there's free and there's premium.
Right.
And
then there's ultra premium.
there's and then there's the very elite club, the platinum.
Right.
which is usually a very limited. They only allow X number of people. That's a whole other ball game, and that's far more expensive than like the $395, which I think is what it costs now for a platinum membership.
So in other words, it's $395 per year,
Yes. Yeah.
and it's at both of the two pay-per-play both Voices 123 and Voices.com.
Yes. And
So are you telling me then that anyone listening, watching us now, who has a well-produced demo should go ahead and spend the $395 at both sites?
yes, that
Okay.
would be my recommendation.
Okay, and then when they've done that, then it is their mission or obligation at that point to start auditioning, because chances are when they first get started, people they aren't going to be coming to us like they come to you.
Yes. However, you have a lot of control over that, more than you might think, by how completely you fill out your profile and by the way that you upload and tag your demos and samples. It's really not about how long you've been there. It's about how well and how complete you fill out your profile and your
Well,
demos.
maybe we should devote an entire video or podcast, maybe both, to having you show me how to do that, and we record it.
Yeah, I think we might even want to do a 4-part training
I'm
series
in.
on it. Yeah, yeah.
Because
It really, once you understand it, it's amazing. It's like setting up alongside the highway where all the traffic is at that you want to attract with a sign and say, "Hey, here I am."
yeah, so there is. I mean, for the people again who are our audience here, anyway, if you're watching or listening to this, there is a right way, and then there is a better way to do this.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And really, in today's voiceover marketplace, you have to be savvy with the pay-to-play sites, or you really need to be if you want to make your life easier.
And also, you don't want to waste that $395 because, but again, this is an investment in addition to the equipment that you get. But someone like me who literally has just gotten the equipment together, you heard, and I think that we were going to talk about, you said that I was 90% there. I don't know if you gave it more of a listen and decided something I needed to do to tweak it, but you said I was in pretty good shape with what
Yeah.
you for me.
Yes.
Now, I'm probably not. Am I ready yet to do that? Given where I'm at, given
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
so I should go ahead and already bite the bullet, pay these guys at Voices123 and Voices.com.
Sign up already. Yeah.
Uh,
Definitely should be there.
Yes. So then, at some point soon, you're going to have to walk me through after I sign up. You're going to have to walk me through, and again, in that training,
Yes.
you're going to show me exactly what to do and how to do it. Correct?
Precisely. Yes.
Every one of you folks that are watching or listening right now, you will be privy to that information, of course, for a fee. No.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, talk about valuable information, though. It really, I've learned to do. I'm better at it now than I was when I first started, and I've been members of both of these sites for years. I mean, for a long time.
Good. And again, let's get back to talking about your week, because that's what this mainly is about. I'm sorry, folks, but I'm hoping that my comments from the peanut gallery here with regards to my own business will be helpful, because I am. And again, let's just let people know, because I don't think we've mentioned this on the podcast or on the YouTube channel. I put together a demo audio cassette tape, which, by the way, I'm feverishly looking to find, and it's there somewhere. I will find it. But I put one together in maybe 82, 83. So over 30 years ago. It's really funny because just think, had I pursued it, I could have been your mentor.
Think about that. Yes.
Yeah, impossible to think about, but it's possible.
Yeah. I'd love to do an A/B comparison of your original compared to your new one.
You really. So anyway, are we still on Tuesday? Or
Still on Thursday.
On Thursday, okay.
Yeah, I did a narration for a jacuzzi company, teaching people how to sync an app so they can control their jacuzzi through the home network.
Sorry, another comment from the peanut gallery here. In graduate school, I went to school with Ken Jacuzzi, whose father created the jacuzzi whirlpool thing for him because he was either a para or a quadriplegic.
Really?
Yes. The guy that I went to school with was in a wheelchair, a very sophisticated wheelchair. His name was Ken Jacuzzi, and I believe his father created that.
No, that's fascinating.
I'm here for that.
Well, this work was actually done for the original jacuzzi company, jacuzzi.com.
Well, who knows?
Not just a company, but the company. Yeah, well. And then also did a little promotional piece for Weber Grills.
Mm.
on Thursday.
Which really makes sense because the two of those things often combine. You have your jacuzzi, and near it, like at your place probably now, you've got. Did you move the jacuzzi from the other house?
Yes, so we brought the new jacuzzi over here.
Or the grill, correct?
Yeah, so then the grill, and now we need is a deal with Omaha State Company, and
Right. And a pool company.
yes, and I've got one scheduled. They're coming out on May 5th to open my pool, so
Oh, there you go.
life will be good.
Right.
You won't be able to contact me for like 3 or 4 months. I'll be sunbathing. So Friday, it's today. This
Yep.
morning I did a little iPhone app promo for personal services for residents of a luxury apartment complex in Sydney, Australia. Yeah, and then did
American Voice for that?
yeah. It's interesting. Oftentimes, other countries perceive North American dialects like North Americans perceive, like for instance, Europeans, to be a little more worldly and sophisticated. People in other countries feel the same way. It's like if you're not, they love anybody that's not from their own country.
However, in England, I think the American accent is just too lowbrow for them.
It's a too lowbrow. Maybe
Although,
that's why I'm very popular in Eastern European countries.
right now, but although, if you're listening or watching this from the UK, please give us some comments on that because I'm wondering if, in fact, what the perception is there. But my guess is that, that American stuff is a little too selly for them.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. There is a difference between when you're doing work for European clients and for U.S. clients. It's interesting. The cultures are different, and I have received that feedback quite frequently. Like, not so much of the American salesy, really tone it down. But by the same token, I've had other clients from Europe, particularly the UK, where they have a lot in the UK. They have a lot of the presenter type voices that are very big and very presentational, and they want you they ask me to be that bigger presentational voice. So it tends to be the extremes. It's very interesting.
They're either really low key or really over the top, but nothing
in the middle.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm not sure why that is, but like I said, I just do what I'm told. They ask you, and I just do it.
All instructions due east. That's what
if they pay me, I'm there. It's all good. I did a little thing for a town in China that's promoting themselves for foreign investment and other companies to come in and do business there.
Wait. Is that a paper play? How'd you get that?
No, this is through a client that I marketed to directly. I sent an email to them several years back.
Out of the blue?
Out of the blue. I just happened to stumble across them. I was doing a Google search, found this production company in China, zipped them out an email. They got back to me, said, "Oh, I love your demo." And I've been working for them ever since.
And how long's that been?
It's been probably 3 years now.
I'll bet that there are very few people who are listening or watching to this, who have, or hopefully they will do it. But I think that that's an unusual. Would you not agree that there are very few voiceover artists who would have done what you just described?
Yeah, I think a lot of people they're afraid. For whatever reason, I'm not sure, but yeah, they're very nervous about the idea of reaching out to people.
So, okay, so you were doing a Google search. This was a couple years back, you say?
Yeah, maybe 3 years.
Okay, and you found this production company in China, not in Shanghai or one of the big cities, somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't even remember where. I don't even remember where in China.
Then was there a contact address on their website?
Yeah, I just went to the website and I found an email. And the guy who, like their production director, speaks English and interfaces with a lot of English-speaking clients. Like, for instance, all of their clients are not Chinese. They have American clients as well. And so apparently I fit the bill for a lot of their work. So I do work for some of their Chinese clients as well as some of their American clients.
And that client over the last 2 years that you found with a Google search and had the you-know-whats to contact them direct, that has generated over time a total revenue of about?
Oh, thousands. Probably less than 10,000, but thousands.
Wow. Yeah. So again, if you're taking notes, folks, don't be ashamed to do something like this where you reach out and just say, hey, because what's the worst they can say? No. They can say, no, we don't want you, we don't have any interest, etc.
And Fred, of all of the many, many, many phone calls, I've made hundreds of phone calls and emails, thousands literally, over the past 9 years. I have never once, not once have I had a negative interaction where somebody was just rude.
Yeah.
Not once.
Wow.
Not everybody's needed to use me.
Right.
or, but it's never been, I've never had a bad interaction.
But again, for the people who haven't heard you say this before, your typical line, either via email or on the phone when you contact them, is, "Are you?" Go ahead and go.
Are you currently accepting voiceover demos?
There you go.
That's the magic line, and it's either a simple yes or no, and that's the end of that.
Man, that's great. I mean, I don't think a lot of people think that, they're just, I think people are scared. People are scared to actually put themselves out there, the fear that they're going to say no. And
Yes.
my experience dating is I got a lot of no's, so I won't have a
I'm shocked. I'm sorry. Okay. You set yourself up for that.
I did. So anything else to talk about that?
Yeah, a couple of things. I did a short sales training narration. I did every Friday I do PBS promos for New Mexico PBS. Did a local radio commercial for a hospital today, Pullman Regional Hospital in Washington State, I believe.
Yeah, that's Washington State University. I had a guy I was at University of Florida with, where I went by to visit my old alma mater this last week, and he was from Pullman, which is Washington State.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I do all their commercials.
Okay.
I did a brief paragraph for a financial firm for an internet type presentation, and I just a few minutes ago completed a little 6-page internal business training narration. So it's been a pretty busy morning. I'm sure there'll be a few more projects before end of day. One of the things that I wanted to mention, though, Fred, we've been talking a lot about marketing, is that one thing to note is that when I mention, I did work for Purina. I did work for, I don't even remember who, there's the National Automobile Dealers Association, so on and so forth. Rarely does that work come directly from that end client. That work comes through some sort of audio or video production company, which means that I don't market to end clients. I don't market to Purina. I market to production companies because they do the marketing. They're always out there looking for clients. Once you're in the good graces of one of these production companies, well, that could open up the door for you to do work for 50 or 100 different clients.
That begs two questions for me. Number one, do you make more money when you find a direct client, A? And B, when you start working for these production houses that hire you like you're describing, do they then mark up your services?
Yes. I mean, there's some sort of markup involved. I'm not always privy to what that is.
I was just wondering, yeah, they may not tell you that, but if they're giving you $50 per finished hour, chances are they're charging the client 70 or 75.
They're making a little something there. But in terms of if I'm working directly for the client, typically it's not that much more. Now, could I, maybe I could get a little more, but I figure we're cutting out the middleman.
Yeah.
They can save the difference. It's all good with me.
And so again, remind me and our listeners or viewers, what percentage of your business is coming in direct these days? Over the last 3 months, what percentage of that business is you going direct to clients versus you going through an intermediary like a production house?
Oh, it's very much. It's in the high 90s. I would say 97% comes through production companies.
Got it. So if you're concentrating your efforts, in addition to pay-by-play sites, contacting production houses is a good idea.
It is. I don't contact TV stations. I don't contact radio stations. I don't contact end clients directly.
Got it. So in addition to my marketing efforts of getting into the Voices 123 and Voices.com, $395 a year premium membership, I should also get a list of audio production houses, and how might I do that?
Mandy.com is the easiest place. It's free. It's a ginormous database, literally tens of thousands of production companies all over the world. And you can query the database by continent, country, state, city.
Should I be concerned about whether or not they are geographically close to me? Probably not.
I would say no. I never take that into consideration. I could care less.
Do you think the fact, say for example in my case, that I grew up in the Philippines, kind of an unusual thing, might it be smart for me to contact places in the Philippines because I speak that language, but if they want an American announcing voice or whatever?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, since you speak that language very fluently, that would make perfectly good sense to do that.
Okay, and maybe they may want someone who is bilingual in that case where I can speak Tagalog and English.
Yeah, you've just expanded your market size.
Cool. Okay, excellent.
And speaking Spanish, you just doubled your market size.
Yeah, so I'm lucky because I have both the Spanish and Tagalog, and I know a lot of people listening are going, "Wow, well, I'm the idiot in the family, and my parents both spoke 7 or 8 languages
My
each."
goodness.
But I think it does say that if you're listening, watching this, and you have an additional language, if you go to my demo, thefredsvoice.com, we recorded a few things in Spanish and in Tagalog as well.
Yes, yeah. So it's enviable. What your ability is enviable to any voiceover talent.
Now, so then when I go and put my profile together, I assume you're going to walk me or us through that, talking about how to use that.
Yes.
Well, golly gee, I'm ready to go.
You should be very excited. The
Okay,
possibilities are endless.
My only concern really is the fact that I don't have a Mallory to edit my audio. So the question is, if I were to use Stanley, my webmaster, to help me with the editing of the audio process, will that, and he may not be able to do it lickety-split, is that going to hurt me in terms of speed of delivery of the material to the client?
Yeah. One of the things, if you want to be competitive, like on the way I work on a volume basis. I've got clients who come to me every day. I'm always, being able to turn things around same day is really important.
And so in my case, when I first start out, I obviously won't have a whole lot of business coming in like you do. So I'll be doing and learning how to do the editing myself.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. And can I do that again? Those of you who don't know, I'm going to be using this Focusrite 2IB system or whatever, 2i2b, and I'm going to be directly recording into GarageBand. Is this something that I can give clients that will be at an acceptable level?
Yeah, in terms of audio, the audio quality that you produce in GarageBand, it will be no better or worse than what I produce in Adobe Audition or what somebody produces in Pro Tools. The difference is in the feature set. It's like WordPerfect versus Microsoft Word, or it's just different feature sets is all.
Got it. But again, would you say that the vast majority of voiceover talent that are making over $100,000 a year, let's say, I'll bet very few of those people operate within GarageBand?
Yes, that would be true. Because really, GarageBand is the workflow is set up more for a musician than for a voice talent.
So that long term, I may start using GarageBand, but when I start cranking some real money, I may have to invest in some additional equipment and software.
Yeah, probably not so much equipment, but you might want to look at other software. One thing that you might want to look at, and it's free, is Audacity.
Yeah.
Because it's really, I think you might find it easier to edit check it out and see what you think. I mean, it's really what you're used to. Adobe Audition is a little more similar to Audacity in the way that you can edit, but within Adobe Audition, I can very quickly chop up, cut, paste, correct. And for me, that's important because if you're doing 5, 6, 7 projects a day, you've got to be pretty fast.
Got it. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of things that relate to other topics, but this is usually about Bill's week and what he generates. So is there anything else we need to talk about with regards to your week?
No, I don't think so. I just hope those insights are helpful. Understand that most of this work comes through a middleman or woman, as it were. It's, video and audio production companies. And understand that, I've cultivated ongoing clients. And when you treat people right and clients right, they come back. It's about growing a business. It's not about getting a job. It's about growing a business. And over time, that's what happens if you do things correctly.
And well, Bill, thanks for giving us the wrap up for this week. And again, folks, thank you. Now let's do our little promo, which is that if you want more information, where should you go, Bill?
You visit voiceoverrevolution.com. That's my website. Also, my YouTube channel, Bill DeWeese. And then I have an email address, which is voiceoverexperts@gmail.com.
Great. And Bill, thank you very much. And we'll see everyone next week.
Thanks, Fred.